Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement. It is Robbie Fox and I am here with Jai Courtney, who I've been a fan of for a really long time, so I appreciate the time today. We're here to talk about Dangerous Animals, a wild new shark-filled thriller that Jai is awesome in. I just got the chance to watch it. It is crazy. It's back and forth. It's a roller coaster of a movie where your performance had me terrified, then laughing, then terrified again. I want to start at your performance. Was there any specific inspiration that you took leading into this movie?
Not really. I think I just had to find my kind of gateway into this character through archetypes, like Aussie kind of characters that I felt like I know, and I mean sort of from real life. Like I feel like Tucker is. He's the cab driver who doesn't shut up on the way home from the train station. He's the guy in the pub who won't stop talking about politics. He's your creepy uncle at the wedding that's like an expert on all things. There's all these kind of elements that I felt familiar to that were pinging to me out of the script, and so that just starts to form like weave the fabric of the character, and that's it. I mean, obviously there's some great. Iconic serial killer performances out there, but I think even with the sort of shark element of this film, like the mistake would be to lean too heavily into chasing like references that share similarities in any way. I think to do something unique, you kind of have to abandon all that, and obviously Sean's like allowed there to be some classic tropes that lend commonality to the genre in there. But for me, it was just really about finding Tucker as a unique character that we haven't felt before. And that's it, man. Going to work and having some fun.
Could you feel like a comedic relief to the character in the script when you first read it?
I felt like that's exactly what it needed in order to work. And there's stuff's obviously in the script, in Nick's script, but it wasn't a very like prescriptive document with sort of telling me how to do it. I think you just have to have an instinct around it. But I knew that if he was sort of played with these broad strokes of like a washover of kind of evil or something like that, it just became less interesting. So I wanted him to charm the audience at times. I wanted him to be the kind of goofy, affable captain of the boat guy. I wanted it to feel like that. I wanted to see his tenderness and his vulnerability, and then also, at times he's got to be a real creepy fuck.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned the genre. I feel like the shark movie has sort of become like a thriller or horror subgenre at this point. There's so many great ones. And this movie does a great job of subverting a lot of the expectations you have for a quote unquote shark movie. Feels like it operates more as a thriller that features sharks than just a straight up shark movie. Do you remember your first shark movie though, the first one you ever saw?
Ooh, I don't know if I remember the first one I saw. I mean, obviously like the OG is Jaws. It's hard to go past that as a sort of as a memorable one. But yeah, I mean, I think you're totally spot on with that. I mean, the sharks are like somewhat deployed, if you will, by Tucker as a means to fulfill his kind of sick fantasies and create these films, which is something that's super passionate to him and important to him. But yeah, we're not sort of on the run from this indiscriminate killer as you might kind of see more commonly in a shark film, and it's really like a survival thriller, on a boat, and it just so happens that they are the kind of agents of devastation.
Yeah, I think I actually saw the movie Open Water before I ever saw Jaws, which is crazy, but I was just young. I remember my family watching it and then thinking it would be okay for me to watch as a young kid. It was the first time I ever saw boobs, so that was my memory
How
from
good.
Open Water.
Yeah, I could probably remember the first time I saw boobs more than the first time I saw a shark movie.
Makes sense, yeah. I saw an interview with you recently from Cannes where you said there was also like a bull shark incident on set. Were you on set for that? Did you see it happen?
Yeah, we were all on set. I didn't see it happen, but that was the kind of crazy thing. It was like it happened while we were filming over there. One of our safety divers and he got a visit from a shark and got way too close. But fortunately, he was okay, aside from being completely rattled. by the experience.
Yeah.
But suffice to say that changed the way we were filming because they had, there was cast in the water that day, and we're shooting out in a stretch of water. I mean, there's sharks everywhere, right? So it's like you can't deny the kind of the threat, but they had assessed that it was totally safe to swim there. I mean, people swim in the beach all day long. It wasn't, statistically nothing was supposed to go wrong, but we had a fella come and say g'day a little too close to set, and it was terrifying for some folks.
Where was like your fear level when it comes to sharks going into shooting this movie? Were you someone that was like afraid of sharks in general, or no?
I mean, is anyone not afraid of sharks? I don't know. I mean, some of those...
Like the kind of people that are willing to swim with them, like I'm personally not. I'm too afraid of sharks. Like I saw Jaws and like I don't want to go in a pool after that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
so
mean,
I don't know.
They're pretty wild. I mean, it is a terrifying idea to think, to have an incident with one. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess my fear was always pretty high. I saw one once swimming when I was out in the quite ways out in Australia many years ago now. And that was enough to freak me the hell out and get me on land. But I mean, it's not a sort of thing where like I'm not going to go in the ocean. I love the ocean, but they're out there. I guess you just got to play the numbers game and hope you don't get struck by lightning.
Yeah. How was Cannes, by the way? As someone that's completely like ignorant to the Cannes festival, other than I know sometimes there's like insanely long-standing ovations. What is that like?
It was unreal. It was a real honor, actually, to showcase the film there and be included at a festival that's kind of synonymous with such glamour and prestige. This is kind of probably a little out of left field, but we were in a sort of sidebar part of the festival called Directors Fortnight, which I think, from what I've come to understand, showcase. Interesting, maybe riskier kind of choices. It's less about the competition of Cannes itself and more about spotlighting directors who've made kind of bold choices. And I think that was the goal, man. But it was a real privilege to be able to share it with the world on that stage, and very, very cool for the movie. And I'm incredibly proud of my castmates and of Sean. So it was great for us.
That's awesome. This movie does take some bold choices where it's like I feel almost jaded to the genre at times because I love movies like this. I love thrillers like this and just movies that get your adrenaline pumping and stuff. And even like towards the end of the movie, like we're in the third act and things are happening where I'm like, holy shit, I did not see that coming in a great way. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that people can did, and I'm sure people will when it comes out, of course. I'm curious from a filmmaking perspective, how long did this take for you to film? Like, how long did the whole process take?
I can't remember exactly, but it probably about 6 or 7 weeks. It's generally like about the size of a production schedule of this magnitude. We get it. We move quick. Fortunately, we weren't bogged down with too many kind of effects when it came to the sharks. A lot of that was done in post-production, and they're all real. There's no CGI creation of the sharks except for a couple of fins on the water because it's just hard to superimpose that. But all the shark footage that you see underwater was all pulled from real documentary shark studies and stuff. So I think that too was a really cool way to layer it in and help people not be pulled out of the drama by kind of seeing a clunky animation of a shark,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is funny having this conversation with you, by the way, as there's, dozens of sharks behind you as I'm watching. It's a very funny visual, yeah. And as far as the role itself, it's very physical. Obviously, there's some fights, there's some struggles in this movie. Do you like a role that comes with that?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I love that. I love that stuff. I like things that feel energetic and that just feel, buoyant and alive. And I'm no stranger to it. I mean, I'm often working in like some kind of action within the space or doing fight choreography. There's a cool fight that Josh and I have in the movie. which turned out really well. And obviously in this kind of genre, you're going to end up with a bunch of practical effects, and things are getting slashed up and cut off, and hooks going through things. So it's always cool when things get a bit gruesome. You know what I mean?
Do you train in any martial arts yourself? I remember I was at a fight in Vegas a couple of years ago, a UFC fight. I remember seeing you there.
Oh yeah.
So are you a UFC fan and a mixed
Oh,
martial arts fan?
yeah, I love MMA, but I don't train anything at the moment. It's been a couple of years. I was doing some Muay Thai a couple of years ago in Santa Fe, but I am lazily haven't got back in there, so I need to. But I love it. I've got huge respect for those athletes, that's for sure.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Australian MMA has been on fire in the last few years, so I'm sure that it's been awesome
Yeah, we just got a new
see.
champ the other day.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
You've obviously been in so many successful blockbusters over the years. I was curious if you look back and think of one movie set that you were on that you learned the most from.
I think Jack Reacher, it's hard to go past. You know, it was my first big Hollywood film, and you know, working under the likes of Tom Cruise, you're just always going to learn so much about the love for the craft, and you know, what he pours into it, and what you get out for having that level of commitment and dedication. And we did some really cool shit on that movie, man. Like the car chase Chom and I shot, and the fight in the quarry under the rain tower, all like, you know, etched into my memory as you know, just really special experiences. So yeah, I would say that's it.
What about the movie set that you laughed the most on?
It'd have to be Suicide Squad, I'd say.
The first one?
First Suicide Squad, we just had the time of our lives. That group got so tight, so close, and just, I don't know, man. We just became like legit family, and it was just a raucous time, the entire shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously, by the looks of me, I'm a huge nerd, and I'm a huge fan of Boomerang and the Suicide Squad movies. I love that he was brought back for the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And I know since James Gunn has said the DCU isn't going to be linear necessarily, the door's kind of open for Boomerang to come back in another capacity. But I was curious, if it were up to you and the roles were the exact same size and importance, would you rather come back as Boomerang or change up the role like a Nathan Fillion or like a Jason Momoa?
I don't know. I mean, I love Boomerang a lot. So yeah, I mean, I've always said it would be cool to reprise that for sure. You know, I'm careful with my words these days, because you start talking about the possibility of anything in the comic book universe, and all of a sudden you're making headlines, and it's utter bullshit. But nah, I mean, look, if the phone ever rang for me to play Boomerang, I'd definitely answer the call.
Yeah, absolutely understandable. I just rewatched the Suicide Squad not too long ago, and that scene when everyone is in the aircraft carrier, you know, right before the mission unfolds, it's so funny and it's so great. I mean, the cast alone in that scene is crazy. It must have been fun to film that as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, there's always. I mean, those teams that they've always assembled in those films are so much fun. There's so many like funny actors too, so you end up like just having the time of your life.
Yeah. Do you have, as an actor, do you still have like dream directors that you'd like to work with, or is it more dream roles or genres?
It's a bit of both. I mean, there's directors like, there's some kind of immortal directors that if they ever called, you know, you're going to show up to anything. You know, and then of course it'd be great to work with those guys before one of us is gone. You know what I mean? I've been a huge fan of Martin Scorsese for ever since I can remember. Like, he's one of those legends, living legends that, like, you know, it'd be such a thrill to get to work with him, or Tarantino, someone like that, David Fincher. I love those guys' films. So yeah, man. But obviously, man, we're always just trying to chase cool parts and diversify the roles we take on, and grow as a performer. So I don't even know. It'd be impossible for me to answer like what my dream role would be, you know. But I just want to keep expanding from here.
Was a role like Taco one that you had thought of before, where it was like, I would like to play, you know, a serial killer in a movie, or big antagonist like that?
I don't even think like that. It's just it's roles come and go, like the possibility of them so frequently, and you get kind of used to detaching yourself. Now, I have a couple of like passion project things that I'm developing, which is great. So there can be there's a bit of a plan amongst that stuff to want to see it through, but I don't sit around going like, oh man, I'd really love to play a bank robber with purple hair. You know what I mean? We'll just see what happens, dude.
Yeah, and speaking of passion projects, I checked out Grass Skirt, and I'm a huge rock and roll fan. And I wanted to like know a little bit more about this band that you put together with your buddies. I listened to the whole EP earlier today. I think it's great.
Thank you so much. It was really a pandemic project that just it just happened. We recorded a bunch of stuff, and there was no ambition with it other than to just get in the studio and make some noise with each other. And that's pretty much where it stayed. I mean, we've been talking about trying to, play a show and get together. And we live on different coasts though. So it's kind of like proving tricky these days to even get the three of us in a room. But they're two, brothers of mine, Grady and Nick. And they were kind enough to indulge me. Wouldn't even class myself a musician, but more of like a tourist in that space. But those two guys are absolute pros. And I don't know, we just got to make some loud, trashy stuff I'm proud of too. But as far as pumping any energy behind it and trying to see it do anything, I don't know if that's really where my priorities lie.
I don't know. I think a couple shows would be awesome because it was just rocking music, and I really appreciated that about it.
We'll
how
try
long have you
and
been
try
playing
and get that
guitar
on
in
the
general?
books one day for sure. I mean, I'd love to do that too. It's just about
Yeah.
it's about committing to it and getting it scheduled.
How long have you been playing guitar?
Since I was about 7.
Oh wow! Did you play in bands growing up?
Not really. We had one band in high school, and we were forbidden from rehearsals because in our first rehearsal, we just thought we were too hardcore, and my buddy like kicked the absolute shit out of an air conditioning unit in the rehearsal space. And so before we'd even done anything, we were already paying a damage bill, and they were like, "You're banned from band rehearsal." So I guess we were too rock and roll for high school even then.
That's real punk rock. Yeah. What about as far as like concert going? Do you have a best live show you've ever been to?
Oh shit, man, so many. Jeez, what would be my best one? I don't know. I mean, I've seen the Stones a couple of times. They're still going strong. I got to see Pantera last year, which was pretty sick for an old
Hell yeah.
heavy metal 90s throwback vibe. It's only like half the band these days, but they reassembled for this big tour, which was pretty epic. And yeah, I don't know, man. I saw some legends back in the day. Like we used to have this concert series called The Big Day Out that would come through Australia every January. And for 10 years in a row, I would go with my buddies, and you'd have everyone from Metallica to the Chemical Brothers to, I think Radiohead played one year. I mean, I was way too late, but like Nirvana were on an earlier bill in the early 90s. Like it was a big festival. So I chalked a lot off, ticked a lot off back then. And I don't know, I love going to shows. I'm probably forgetting someone super influential that I've seen in recent times, but I try to get to live music whenever I can.
That's awesome. I hope one day I can say that I'm going to a Grass Skirt show.
I hope
Come to New York,
I
bring
hope
the
you
band.
can too, dude. I'll make that happen for you.
I really appreciate the time. Again, I've been a fan for so many years, so it was cool getting to talk to you, getting to pick your brain about this movie. I really enjoyed the movie. Go check it out. Dangerous Animals, everybody.
Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.